Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 10th, 2023. The fire potential impacts for the next couple of days are shown here. We continue to see dry, warm, windy conditions across the southern Great Basin today, tomorrow, and to a lesser extent on Wednesday before the wind is going to die down a bit going into the second half of the work week. And we also have some showers and thunderstorms lingering mainly over the central Idaho mountains for today, and then some drier conditions after that as well. Yesterday, saw a little bit of shower thunderstorm type activity in Idaho with a few isolated lightning strikes here and there, and then also a little cluster into eastern Utah. That was a bit on the drier side. New initial attack activity continues to be quite light with new fires mostly over Utah yesterday. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here with the observed amounts on the left and percent of normal on the right. Not much has changed in this picture with pretty dry conditions across southern Nevada and southern Utah and even up into Idaho for the past week. What we did see some daily thunderstorms and showers over northern Nevada and northern Utah and into western Wyoming. Taking a look at current fire danger conditions, here we have ERC for a couple of zones in northwest Nevada. Those values are just below average for the time of year, but on an upward trend. And then here across southern Utah, the values are above average for the time of year. Normally, we would see values coming down with the monsoons, but since there are no monsoons, those values remain above normal and on an upward trend, remaining on that upward trend, just about to hit the 90th percentile down there in southwest Utah. Taking a look also at our Sagebrush live fuel moisture for a couple of sites here in northwest Nevada. Again, those values are above normal for the time of year, and here in northern Utah, right at normal. So that's generally what we're seeing, values right at or around normal, slightly above, maybe slightly below, but the values do seem to be decreasing given the stretch of warm, dry weather we've had. This morning's satellite imagery is shown here. We still have the high pressure ridge located to the south and east over the south central U.S. and the southwest, and then a low over the Pacific Northwest, causing generally dry conditions across much of the Great Basin with some showers up north, and then those winds across the southern Great Basin. Again today, here we're looking at a very dry air mass in place over southern Nevada, southern Utah with some high risk issued for those winds, and then a little bit of moisture across the central Idaho mountains. Closer look at the winds this afternoon. We can see we have pretty gusty winds over southern Nevada and southern Utah with some areas gusting 35-40 miles an hour, and then also some gusty winds with the outflows with the showers and thunderstorms further north in Idaho. On Tuesday, warm, dry, windy conditions continue across the Great Basin with a decrease in thunderstorm activity up north. We do continue to have high risk over southern portions of the basin. Again, those winds remaining in place over southern Nevada and southern Utah with low relative humidities across much of Nevada and really area wide, but quite low in Nevada and western Utah. On Wednesday, conditions remain generally the same with warm and dry conditions over Utah and Nevada, the high pressure ridge to the south and a low further north. No high risk triggers are issued for Wednesday as the winds decrease a bit. We can see the winds die down a bit, still somewhat breezy across the southern basin, but we don't have any high risk for that wind. Wind speeds do pick up along the Sierra Front on Wednesday, and conditions remain dry there. Maximum temperatures are above normal for the time of year, but not near records, so mid to upper 90s across many of the northern valleys. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. Really not expecting much at all for precipitation just today in the central Idaho mountains. On Thursday, warm, dry conditions continue across the Great Basin. And that pattern continues into Friday. So really not too much change throughout the week, just windy across the south, and the winds die down for the second half of the week across the south. And more warm, dry, and breezy conditions on Saturday. On Sunday, we'll see the ridge start to move a little bit to the west, causing temperatures to increase across the Great Basin, especially over the western portions. 7-day totals are just reflect a little bit of precip we're expecting today in the central Idaho Mountains and then dry thereafter. The extended forecast for July 17th through the 23rd puts the bullseye of heat still across the southwest U.S., but we do get quite warm across the southern Great Basin, and then below normal precipitation remaining in place over the basin. We're starting to see a few little hints of moisture coming up, monsoonal moisture coming up into the Great Basin, and sometime in this period, probably late in this period, the going into the last week of July, so we'll keep an eye on that. But really, just generally hot and dry for the next week to 10 days. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.